Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic Vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight, President Trump, by the way, pardoning Texas Democrat Henry Cuellar. He, like Eric Adams, started complaining about the border being open. And then suddenly they piled on him, a Democrat. But he is thankful that he was pardoned by President Trump. And he says he hopes to go to the White House next week and thank him personally. President Trump feeling that it was all about politics. Also, very much look at the timing of what happened with Eric Adams, too. He complained about the Biden White House, about the open borders, and then we know that they also came after him. So very interesting timing, and President Trump seeing politics very much pulling into play. Speaking which, President Trump going after the cartels and hitting them where it hurts, going them now in maritime capacity, but also not ruling out that he might not do some land operation in Venezuela. This could be a real biggie, guys. Well, President Trump, just a little bit ago, he was in the White House and he said he is not ruling out and he very much supports releasing the video of that second strike on the Venezuelan drug boat. Now, this is the drug boat that was carrying narco terrorists. These are drug dealers who are bringing drugs to the United States. Again, also President Trump labeling them as foreign terrorist organizations. That gives them the justification to go after them, just like Al-Qaeda or any of these other groups. And yet the Democrats are saying, why are you going after them? I mean, they're trying to make this a war crime, saying going after the boats, that's not a nice thing to do. And even ABC television saying that the boat strike survivors were trying to salvage the drugs, that they were not there surrendering an innocent fisherman that happened to be on a boat. They were actually there trying to salvage the cocaine. So here is President Trump just a little bit ago saying, put it all out, put the video out so people can see that he says this was a justified strike. Take a listen.
I've never heard of it. Very good. We never heard of it. That's pretty good.
Mr. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what happened?
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release. No problem. You know, we stopped every boat we knock out. We saved 25,000 American lives.
That's right.
And
he said, I have no problem. Put it out there. And we heard yesterday from Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, that this was a justified strike. Tomorrow, by the way, the Admiral Bradley, is going to be testifying in a closed-door classified briefing, giving an update to members of Congress to say, here's what happened. He's apparently the guy who ordered that second strike. Hegseth says that he was there for the first strike, but then walked away, and that second strike happened. But now ABC television, which isn't exactly a friend of Donald Trump, is saying that the boat strike survivors were trying to salvage the drugs when that strike happened. So that certainly helps. If you're going after the drugs or the boat, that is a lot more of a jurisdiction and gives you definite cover. If you have people saying, I'm begging you not to shoot, and they're walking away or swimming away in this case, or that they had fishing poles, maybe that's a different story, but that sure doesn't sound like that is the case in any shape or form. Even ABC television tonight saying that they were, quote, trying to salvage the cocaine. So were they, was it Mary Poppins on a fishing trip, with her brother? I don't think so. So here is President Trump. He was asked also, do you back that second strike? And he said, yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, if a boat strike, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging on to that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land, too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the
No, I support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever's piloting those boats, most of them are gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country. Yeah, please.
I love President Trump. No nonsense. The boat, you're going to find out, was justified. He's saying they were, bringing drugs to this country. They're a foreign terrorist organization, and they were narco terrorists. And yet there are Democrats and they're members of the media who are fighting back. Listen to this exchange. This is Congressman Carlos Jimenez, and he's on CNN. Listen to this back and forth.
I'm confident that the admiral thought he was carrying out his mission, which is questionable.
Why is it questionable to order a strike to kill individuals who are survivors?
These are terrorists. Okay, these are absolute terrorists.
But they're wounded.
I didn't see this kind of scrutiny when the Obama administration was launching drone strikes against terrorist organizations in the Middle East. That happened all the time. Okay, and so. I didn't see this kind of scrutiny about the survivors, et cetera. These are terrorists. They're bringing poison into the United States. They have killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. And we need to understand that. Killed far more Americans than Al-Qaeda or
so let me just be precise with you,
ever did.
Congressman.
And so I have no problem with the kinetic strikes that are happening in the Caribbean, killing and destroying the drugs that are killing American citizens and have been killing American citizens for years.
They have to answer. Oh, wait. It was a narco terrorist. Maybe it was justified. The fact that they have to defend it, and it goes back to, you just heard him talk about Obama and Biden. Obama, by the way, in the last year, dropped 25,000 bombs in 7 countries. Maybe were all of those people that, they're 100% sure of? It's the fog of war. They're going after individuals tied to drug trade or to terrorism. What about also what happened with Biden? Biden went after a family after that suicide bomber blew himself up at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan so he could pretend like he was doing something, and he accidentally took out a family. It was terrible. It was a guy with all his kids, 10 people. Where was the outrage on that from Democrats? It wasn't anywhere. I didn't see them, complaining also about specifically Obama and Biden, who were dropping bombs and drones all over the place. So get a load of this. Here is Congressman Jim Hines, Democrat of Connecticut, and he's actually arguing over the phrase narco-terrorist, saying the phrase narco-terrorist is not accurate and isn't a nice phrase. Listen to this.
There is no such thing as a narco-terrorist. There are very, very bad narcotics people, cartels, etc., but they're desperate to make this look like it's ISIS or Al-Qaeda because that's the very thin line on which their illegal use of the United States military to take these people out resides.
So there's not a nice phrase, narco-terrorist. There are just narcotics, bad people with narcotics like cartels. So it's not a such thing as a narco terrorist. That's not a nice phrase. What is going on with these people? They truly are in la la land. They truly do not understand the severity, or they have just such unbelievable Trump derangement syndrome, which is what I really think is the case, that no matter what Trump does, even if he takes out narco terrorists, that's not a good thing. Let's go to Peter in Minneapolis on line one. Peter, your thoughts tonight.
Yeah, Trump's doing the right thing. These narco terrorists are bad hombres, and we need to kill them all. I think one of the best things Trump has done so far in fighting these narco terrorists was giving a pardon to Juan Hernandez. I mean, he only trafficked in tons and tons of drugs. Wasn't that nice to give him a pardon?
Well, the reason is, and by the way, Peter, I don't know all the specifics in that case, but what I did hear, and hang on, hold on, Peter, hold on. You're not letting me answer. It is my show, remember. What he said and what the DOJ said was that there was a lot of politics and that they believed that he was set up, that particular president was set up. I'm not going to argue all the specifics because I don't know it. I just remember them saying that in that case, they believed that he was a political pawn versus the other. But why don't you just answer my question on this, Peter? Did you think it was okay? I guess it was okay when Obama and Biden and others were doing it. But now that Trump is doing it, it's not okay. Is that correct? Let's go to Sheldon in Manhattan, line 3. Go ahead, Sheldon.
Yeah, forewarned makes people forearmed. What Mandani has threatened that he's going to arrest Netanyahu, and so I think if it's possible to open up a case, just say, because he's insulting the president of the United States, he's hurting one of our allies, that legally that Mandani, who really does not even recognize Israel, that he should. He has to abide by the court order and provide appropriate police protection for any mobs that come out, etc., and escort Netanyahu.
Oh, very interesting. So
in other words, legally, it's you're having in Hebrew we say refuah kodem makkah, the healing before you have the injury. In other words, he made an over threat again and again. It's forbidden. He'd be going against his parents. How can you recognize Israel? How can you give any honor to Netanyahu? He must give honor to Netanyahu. If a court order says he must give honor and protection to Netanyahu, it's illegal, and the police have to abide by this.
Oh, yeah, and that's where, and this is where it's going to get. Do you think there's anybody at the NYPD that would arrest Netanyahu if he were to come? I don't. You do.
There could be people that are following orders. Because he said to do so, and this is that. What are they going to do? Go against the orders?
Well, and that's where it's going to get sticky. Because
he's the boss.
Right,
Mandani is the boss. You don't listen to him, you can be out of a job.
Yeah, that's how sad is that, Sheldon? I hear what you're saying, and that is really sad to put our brave NYPD in that position. And I say bravo, by the way, to Netanyahu. I think it's brilliant that he says I'm coming.
Open up a court right away. Because he's insulting the president of the United States, he's insulting the freedom of one of our allies, and the court order will say clearly that Mandani has to cooperate fully. He cannot stop, and he must provide complete police protection of whoever the police commissioner is, also if she remains there. But she also has to provide complete protection because he's going to bring the mobs out also. The mobs will follow.
Well, that is what many of us are worried about, Sheldon. That is for sure. Really scary stuff.
I don't know who you can say this over to. I'm just a stranger here.
No, but you know what, Sheldon? Sheldon, you're bringing up some really good points. And there should be some sort of preemptive action because you can already sort of see where this is headed, and it's not going to be pretty. Thank you, Sheldon, very much. Let's go to Reggie real quick in Texas, line 1. Go ahead, Reg.
Well, Miss Rita, my point was going to be this about the whole what they're deeming illegal strikes. That's why a week or two, whenever these seditious six made their comments about the military disobeying orders that weren't lawful, they knew it would tie directly to this. They wanted to have a forum to start pinning their whole hopes on. And we can't take things seriously from idiots whoever that politician was. I'm sorry, I missed his name, about these aren't narco terrorists.
Yeah, Jim Hines. Jim Hines from Connecticut, Democrat. I mean, isn't that an incredible statement?
Yeah, well, these are the same fools that were calling you. Remember, he was a Maryland father. So let's not take seriously. And I'm glad that you reiterated the point when that awful thing happened to those Marines at Abbey Gate. They felt they needed to retaliate. They killed a man with his children who was hauling water, and not one of them made a peep.
Yeah, Why was that not a war crime? Why were they not called in on war crimes? I'm just saying. Obviously, I believe that they were over anxious to try to get somebody. Clearly, they got the wrong person. But how is a drug boat in Venezuela wrong, but not a peep after hitting out that guy who was getting water with his kids? I mean, it's just the irony. It is so blaring. It's so obvious that there are two different standards, Reggie, and that's what's so troubling. Reggie, thank you so much. We're going to continue, everybody, after the break. 1-800-848-9222, and you're listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's 77 soccer. Smaller the pitch, faster the action. The world's elite soccer clubs compete for their share of a massive $5 million prize. Catch World Sevens on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max December 5th through the 7th.
This episode is brought to you by Marqeta. When it comes to your payments provider, you can't afford to compromise. Marqeta's modern payment solutions flex with your business without the trade-offs. Stable and agile, secure and innovative, scalable and configurable. If they say you can't have it all, don't believe them. Your business demands more. Choose a payments provider that delivers more. Choose Marqeta. Visit marqeta.com/Spotify to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Jay Kelly, the new film from Academy Award nominee Noah Baumbach. George Clooney stars as an actor confronting his past and present on a journey of self-discovery, alongside Adam Sandler as his devoted manager. Critics are calling it a declaration of love to the chaotic art of filmmaking, with the Wall Street Journal praising it as a transcendent comedy drama. Watch Jay Kelly December 5th, only on Netflix.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's continue with your calls, guys. Let's go to Judith in Brooklyn on line 3. Go ahead, Judith.
Hi, Rita. I just want to say this whole hoopla with the media driving Trump crazy with the boats and the this and that, to me, it's a distraction from those 6 congressmen doing that treasonous video with Mark Kelly and that CIA woman.
Yep, Alyssa Slotkin, the seditious 6.
Yes, a CIA. And she's altogether very suspicious because she said something 2 weeks prior. Oh, something's going to happen, blah, blah. And sure enough. So, this is a distraction, and the media, of course, goes along. They go for cover. They'll do everything to go against the commander-in-chief, which is treasonous. But the media, they'll cover for them anything when it comes to going against President Trump. So that's what this all is all about, Ridiculous.
Well, you bring up a good point because the media, right, has been so on board of, it's like every question today was about this hitting of it. And I don't mind a question to say, okay, well, what were the procedures? What's going on? But to sit there and make it sound like, how is that? They seem to be advocating, at least some members of the media and definitely some Democrats, advocating for the narco terrorists. I mean, one of them was talking about how it was a submarine. I don't know of too many sweet little, kind little fishermen that are out there in a heavily fortified submarine out there in the middle of the ocean with drugs on board. I mean, it's ludicrous.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. At IKEA, your dreams can come true. Well, maybe not the ones where you're being chased by a monster. We're talking about kitchen dreams. And there are IKEA products and solutions for all of them. Whether it's a whole new kitchen, a statement glassware set, or just new cutlery. If you got big dreams or small dreams in any size of budget, IKEA can help you bring them to life. Visit IKEA.us/dreamkitchen to learn more. Dream the possibilities.
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan. Real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Rita Cosby is on.
And a third Afghan from the Biden program has been arrested now in 1 week. This one for providing aid and comfort to ISIS. So, boy, oh boy, we are finding out so many things about that program and how they were not being vetted in any shape or form. Meantime, by the way, you always know I read your comments on social media. Felix Spitzer saying, Rita Cosby, President Trump can help Zoran Mandani achieve his goal of affordability by facilitating mass deportations in New York City. It would open up many apartments, causing the rents to stabilize, the large illegal population, government funding, and also has caused a shortage of housing. So very interesting points there, Felix. And certainly it's going to be interesting to see the relationship between President Trump and Zoran Mandani. And you're right, the cost of illegals, it is enormous in New York City and every big city across this country. And also the threats against ICE has certainly intensified. I feel so bad for our brave men and women in law enforcement. They're trying to do just heroic work, trying to get, especially those with very lengthy criminal histories. Those are the priorities, to get them off the streets, and especially those who are here in the country illegally and have a rap sheet. But it has become more and more difficult, but yet they are remaining focused. And just before the show, I spoke with the former chief of Border Patrol and also the former acting ICE director, Ron Vitello. And this is what he told me about the mission of ICE and CBP and what they are dealing with in our country. Director Vitello, it's so great to have you here. First off, what do you think is going to happen here with Venezuela? How important is it, first off, all these strikes on these drug boats? I mean, it is sending a huge message. President Trump just a little bit ago saying that drug trafficking, maritime drug trafficking, he says is down in that area 91%. Clearly the cartels are getting a message.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You know, the president has put us in a situation again where, you know, the American interests are going to prevail. America first, right? We're going to stop tolerating these drug transshipments into the hemisphere, in the hemisphere to our shores. And so we're in a good spot. It's not only affecting the relationship with Venezuela, but it's got to have an impact in Colombia, in Mexico, and all these other transit and or producing countries, because this is a very different strategy. It's a very different tactic. And it's obvious that they're going to have trouble to find people to pilot and crew these boats because we're seeing less of them because the consequences are definitely very different under this president.
What do you say to these folks? And they're, mostly Democrats who are out there saying, "Oh, that's not a nice thing to do to a drug smuggler is to take out his boat." I mean, it seems sometimes that it's like Alice in Wonderland. They almost seem to be more focused on protecting what they call the rights of the drug smuggler versus how about the 100,000 Americans that are dying from fentanyl?
That's exactly right. What is the alternative, right? We tolerated this as a country for decades. My entire career, we made seizures in the Eastern Pacific and in the Caribbean for decades. It doesn't stop. We've put kingpins in jail. Chapo Guzman as an example. That's what they would rather have that and lots of dead Americans than taking out a few drug boats and stopping that traffic in the pathway. I think that it's very clear. And those on the left who want to stand up for the Maryland dad or for drug runners, they're making a choice, and that choice is against American interests.
Ron Vitello, also, I couldn't believe this. L.A. County, they're very progressive, no surprise. Board of Supervisors, they voted to ban masked ICE agents. I mean, to me, has the world gone nuts? I mean, don't they understand the threats that ICE agents and so many of the great men and women who work with you are dealing with?
Yeah, it's terrible. These jurisdictions, they sanctuary individuals who are in the country illegally who commit other crimes, and they want to prevent and hinder the work of the front line at ICE and CBP to try and arrest people who are in the country illegally, many of which are criminals as well, besides their illegal activity of being here without inspection. And so, yeah, they're just proving to the rest of us that they really can't operate, in a rational way. And they don't want this work to be done. The reason that President Trump is taking so much flack from the left is because this is being successful. We've got almost 16 miles of new walls in place at the southwest border. No releases from CBP custody at the southwest border in the last 6 months, going on 7. Border numbers unlike anything I've ever seen. It's very difficult to cross the border today. If you do cross, you are likely to be apprehended. You will mostly be prosecuted and put on a path for removal very quickly. So consequences exist at the southwest border in ways I've never seen. And we're continuing to drill down on those numbers to make it, like a little less than 200 a day to 0. And all the cooperation from the Department of War and their soldiers, the Department of Justice with their prosecutors, the folks at Health and Human Services who are using the information about sponsors who are trafficking children to prosecute those people in federal court. It's just amazing how far we've gone and how quickly the border has been locked down. The interior operations have been successful, except for, these judges that are getting in the way of the actual deployments down there. It is going very, very well. And the left is in such a state because the president is succeeding. He gave the front line the tools that they need, and we're operating as such.
And by the way, speaking of judges, we have the great Judge Richard Weinberg here in studio. Go ahead, Judge.
Director, good to talk to you again. I want to commend you for the work you do to protect the American people and our borders. So let me be very clear. There's no such thing as a matter of constitutional law as a sanctuary city. So they're acting totally ultra illegally. That's number one. Number two, when the county board of Los Angeles County 4-0 with one abstention votes to ban masks by ICE agents, they're acting beyond the pale of the authority. The Supremacy Clause, the United States Constitution makes it clear that your law enforcement operations, the federal government's law enforcement operations, cannot be hindered by local government interference. And so these people ought to back off. What are they going to do? Try to have the cops arrest the ICE agents for not wearing a mask? They're inviting chaos and all they're doing is protecting lawbreakers who are a threat to public safety.
What do you say, Ron?
No, thanks for that, Judge. I agree with you 100%. This is just getting in the way of the operations that the federal government needs to conduct. And let's face it, this is a response to 4 years of chaos at our border. And places like Los Angeles, they have so many things that they could be working on, like rebuilding the homes that were burned down, with ending the homeless crisis that exists there, the cost of living through the roof, the quality of life going down every single day in cities like L.A., and they want to tell federal agents what equipment they can wear on their uniforms. It is very telling where their priorities are.
Yeah, it sure is. And you guys are fighting the good fight every day despite all of this. Well, we love having you here. Ron Vitello, thank you, the former chief of Border Patrol, also former acting ICE director. Keep up the good fight. We're with you, Ron. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Great conversation there with Ron Vitello earlier, talking about the fight that ICE is trying to do to keep our streets safe. And this is stunning. He was just talking about, of course, that mask policy that now has been in place, the demasking that L.A. County, that the very progressive Board of Supervisors there voted for. I can't believe this. This just happened. Gavin Newsom is now launching a portal for California residents to snitch on federal agents who they say abuse their authority. So he's not doing anything to help federal agents. He is creating what he calls a snitch line, if you will. He's not calling it that, but that's what we're calling it, to be able to report what they view, what citizens view as misconduct by federal officers. If only Democrats would focus on getting criminals off the streets as opposed to vilifying these wonderful people in law enforcement that are trying to do their best every single day, maybe we would be doing a lot better in this country. It's just incredible to me. And then, as we talked about earlier, we have Jim Hines there, the Democrat, who is saying there's no such thing as a narco-terrorist. There are just very bad narcotics people, like cartels, but they're not narco-terrorists. Like, it's not nice, to call them narco-terrorists? This was after, of course, the word of the second strike on that boat carrying narco-terrorists in Venezuela. I mean, this is just incredible. Incredible. It is the world upside down. This is the Rita Cosby Show. It's 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Fran in Massapequa on line one. Fran, your thoughts tonight.
Hey, girl, I just want to say you're wonderful. And I just want to say to that guy who called your name, okay, that guy, thank you, sir, for proving that you Democrats are lowlifes. Because you say you're the party of, niceness and being compassionate and loving everybody. And
by the way, did you hear that was the same guy who also thinks there's a problem going after these narco terrorists? I mean, come on, that's incredible. You know?
Problem. Go to that country or whatever country those people are from, and try talking to them in a civil, in a nice way, and see what happens. These people are so delusional. It's scary. It's getting scary now.
It is. And what do you make, Fran, of this guy, this congressman in particular, the Jim Hines, because he is saying, oh, there's no such thing as a narco terrorist. He's almost like defending them and saying that's not the appropriate term to use. You've got people on boats bringing drugs by the boatload into our country. And you probably just heard the new news tonight. ABC television is reporting that the boat strike survivors were trying to salvage the drugs on the boat. So it wasn't like, they were waving a white flag. They were still in the fight. So, I mean, if you're in a wartime setting and you've got someone who's going to grab the arms, what are you going to say? Oh, no, that's not nice to go after them? I mean, this is lunacy, isn't it, Fran? It's lunacy.
Absolutely. And Jim Hines is what, like the great president would say, Donald Trump, He's a lowlife, and he really is. I've heard him say a bunch of disgusting things. And I just, two things really quick. I love you so much. You do a wonderful job. I think it was Ronald Reagan's wife who said, started the war on drugs. Trump is now bringing it to reality. And number two, to finish up, if this lowlife, Mandani, scummy, whatever his name is, if this guy has the nerve have a detail of security police following him around, it's a disgrace. He should have no detail. He should have social workers as his protection. He should not have police at his house following him around, protecting him, his family. It's gotten out of hand because the liberals that people have voted in have there's no more rules, no more regulations, no more laws. Kids do whatever they want. They beat up pregnant women trying to defend their little kids. It's gotten so out of control. We need Trump to keep just good and honest. That's what it's all about.
We're losing you, Fran, a little bit, but I hear what you're saying. And it's going to be an interesting balancing act. Like you said, of course, all of the mayors do get a security detail. And you're right. It's going to be fascinating to see how that works. And also, he has made it clear, the new news is obviously that he's making it clear that he does not want NYPD to cooperate with ICE in any shape or form. We know what he has said in the past about defunding the police and calling them racist and all these things. But just like you, my bet's on President Trump on this. President Trump is absolutely keeping an eye on Mandani. He's absolutely keeping an eye on New York. He loves New York. This is his hometown. He is going to make sure that things work in this place. And if they don't, he will step in. And there's a lot of power that President Trump has, a lot of force with money, with National Guard. There are a whole bunch of things. And clearly, he won't hesitate, I don't think, to pick up the phone and say, Mayor Mandani, wake up and do what's right for the city, or else. And he won't hesitate to speak out. He was nice to Mandani. This is before he, of course, took power. We'll see what happens when he becomes the mayor on January 1st, less than a month away, guys. And let's see where it goes from there. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting back and forth between the two. So get your popcorn out, guys. That's all I can say. And we're going to continue your calls, everybody, after the break. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And first, here is Support Our Heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from New Berlin, Wisconsin, where veteran Frank Spannenberg said he doesn't consider himself exceptional, but he did receive a big honor recently at a senior Christian community, and he was also recognized with a very special quilt. And to just give you a bit of background about him, in April 1944, he was initiated into the Yankee Division infantry training. However, with a background in engineering, he was quickly assigned to a combat battalion in Alabama. And soon after that, his unit sailed to England in late 1944. And in February 1945, they crossed the English Channel to the German front as the war neared its end. He spent roughly 3 months near active combat zones and returned home in 1946. The veteran said, quote, "I was fortunate. I was fairly close to combat areas at the end, and we were all pretty fortunate in my group." He was also presented a beautiful quilt from the Quilts of Valor, honoring him for his great service. And upon presentation, the group said, "We hope this quilt will provide you with some comfort, some warmth, some love, some healing from the memories that you had for your service." And how beautiful to see that happen. And we love, of course, honoring all of our great World War II veterans. By the way, Robert Spannenberg is 102 years old. And everybody support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate just $11 a month to make an incredible difference. go to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They are the best. Check them out at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk? If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit REI.com.
And let's go to your calls, guys. Let's go to Lisa in Long Island on line 2. Go ahead, Lisa.
Rita, the scariest thing that this lunatic Mandani is proposing is the notion that the police will not cooperate with ICE. Because what does that say? That tells all these criminal illegals, come to New York City. You'll be safe here. And we're going to resort back to the way it was before Trump, where you had these Venezuelan kids beating up cops. No action, no real action was taken. This is very bad. Believe me, they will hear that New York City is a sanctuary city for criminals because of this crazy bastard mayor.
Well, you know what's interesting? Your point's a good one because it's sort of the come one, come all. And we go back even on the federal level. Look what happened when Joe Biden literally said, come one, come all. We want you here. Up to maybe 20 million came into this country, Lisa. We don't even know how many because there were a lot of gotaways that we just have zero clue. We have no idea how many others are living among us. We know that a number of those that have been on the terrorist watch list came across the border or were flown in, even on some of these parole programs. And you're right, it incentivizes that. And he has already, you're right, very much telegraphed. And he even reiterated it in the last 24 hours. Under no circumstance will he have the NYPD cooperate, with ICE. And that is going to make ICE's job much more dangerous. I'm actually also worried about our great federal law enforcement that are coming in trying to clean up the streets. And then they got to worry about what directive the mayor is going to give. And it's going to put the NYPD in very difficult situations as well. So let's just pray for peace. Let's pray this works it out. And Donald Trump is watching New York.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.